All right. Disc Golf Pro Tour Awards. And we got the man himself that was a part of the award show. So hopefully you can answer some of my questions because I have some about this. My first question, before we even get into the awards, my first question is, what's the reasoning behind? I mean, the season has been over for well over a month at this point.
Yeah.
Why are we waiting so long to list all these awards off? I feel like the hype is kind of dead. Like this would have been so much better to be released like a week after USDGC.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, man. I don't know their reasoning behind this stuff. I feel the same way. I think that I think they needed to have the fan vote and do all this mumbo jumbo. There should be just an easy thing that they do. I don't know how any of the voting works.
Yeah.
I don't think fans should be voting in anything. Fans know nothing, honestly.
All-Stars. I think All-Stars makes sense because like those people will.
But how are fan votes getting like the one that I was what do you call it, nominated for comeback player of the year? It was like
I don't think there were fan votes in that.
There was.
I thought there was only media and tour players.
No, it was media and fan. Yeah.
There's a fan aspect too. I didn't see any sort of breakdown of that, so I don't. I just have information
because I had to read it off. I think in the show I read it off and it said fan votes.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy to me because why would it, like, fans are just going to pick their favorite player that.
Sure.
Like what?
Which should
that
should be factored in though, but like very small, right? Like I think in other sports they do have fan votes, but like you have, let's say you have 100 votes, 99 of them are going to like people that know, and then like one goes to like the fan, right? Like whoever. So like there is a fraction of the vote that matters for fans, but it's not enough to sway. But in all-star voting, I don't mind that. I think in all-star voting,
cards and doing all that stuff. Yeah. Whoever your favorite people are, of course you're going to vote your favorite people are so you can watch them. But for awards, like, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of having a piece of that be the fan vote because you're just going to pick your favorite player.
Yeah, no,
that's what a fan is.
I completely agree. I will say the award show though was cool. I liked it. You guys did you and Big Germ did an awesome job. I thought that was really, really cool. Again, I'm gonna say I think the timing of it makes no sense. I think a lot of this conversation has like the height at the end of USDGC. That was at the height of like, should Calvin win Player of the Year? Should Isaac win Player of the Year? Some people were even saying, should Gannon win? But now it's like it's been dragged out so long. The timing doesn't make really much sense. And the other thing that's very odd is you have like the award show, and I think the people that watch that from the beginning to the end, awesome. But a lot of times you're not going to have people want to watch an entire award show, but they're going to want to know who won what. And it's very weird. Like the Pro Tour is like slowly like releasing information that's already technically out there. So there are going to be people listening to this podcast. I don't know if they've released everything at this point, but they're like every day they're making an Instagram post of like FPO Player of the Year. And then the next day they're like comeback Player of the Year. And then like, why not just award show goes, then you have like a post that literally says everything, like a full list of these are all the award winners. Here they are. It's very odd the way that they've kind of done this. I don't know the strategy behind it, and I don't know if you know anything about it. You might just.
I have no clue. Everybody always asks me what's going on with the Pro Tour. I know zippity doodah. I know when to show up to do my job. Sometimes, and that's it. Like, for example, the award show. I got a notification like 3 days prior saying, hey, you need to be at this location to do the award show. They didn't tell me what it even was. I just showed up and then free rolled it. That's why I was in my Pittsburgh gear. I didn't know I was going to like be on camera and like, you know what I mean, hosting this thing. They just said, hey, we're doing the an awards thing. We need you to be at this location. And so I'll show up in my Pittsburgh gear to, you know, announce these prestigious awards. And I'm like, I didn't know I was going to be like on camera the whole time. I thought I was going to be like commentating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, at least
so
Germ didn't show up like in a tuxedo, because that would have been really awkward. He was like super dressed up, like black tie. And you're just
it would have been better
in.
than the Steelers gear. But yeah, I don't know, man. They're doing their thing, and we're just here for the ride.
Yeah. All right. Fair. I mean, fair enough. All right. Let's talk about some of the winners. So we'll run through the All Stars right now. So MPO All Stars, you have Calvin Heimberg, Isaac Robinson, Gannon Burr, Ricky Wysocki, Eagle McMahon, Matt Oram, Simon Lizotte, Kyle Klein, Anthony Barella, Cole Redolin, James Proctor, and Ezra Robinson. Anyone on that list that surprises you, or anyone that you're like, hey, this person got left off?
I think they nailed it.
Yeah. I want to look up the world rankings real quick and just kind of see based off of, hold on. I'm in a group text now. Hey, I'm filming something.
That didn't work for me.
Please
I left the group
off on texting right now.
Hey, listen, I literally left
what
the
is going
text
on with
messages.
us, Yuli?
I left it, and then I got like 5 minutes ago, I got another one being like, welcome back. And then they're just bombarding me with more texts.
Yeah. It's almost like I text this way too, though, so I'm not gonna like hate on it, but when you're doing something, it's the most annoying thing ever. When you have, let's say you have like 5 thoughts, I'm sending 5 separate texts.
Yeah.
Versus just one text with all the thoughts. So you're just like ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
It's like
blowing them up for sure.
So looking at the world rankings versus Eagles number 1 right now in the world. What the heck? When did that happen? That happened after USDGC?
I guess.
Okay. So the notable names to me that aren't on this list, you have Paul Macbeth right now is ranked 3rd in the world. He's not on the All-Stars. Al Klein's there, Gannon's there, Isaac's there, Matty O, Bradley Williams, 10th in the world, Aaron Gossage, 11th in the world, Chris Dickerson, 12th in the world. Then you have Nicholas Antilla at 14, Corey Ellis.
I can't imagine
Joel Freeman.
I can't imagine that Macbeth just didn't make it. Like that's I think he deferred.
Himself? Yeah.
That's what I would guess.
That probably makes the most sense, right? Because he's probably, again, we don't exactly know the percentage breakdown, but I'm pretty sure the fan vote's pretty important for this.
Yeah.
So you would assume he would get a massive fan vote. And you're probably right on that. You're probably right on him deferring. All right, FPO All-Stars, Kristin Tattar, Missy Gannon, Owen Scoggins, Holland Hanley, Ella Hansen, Kat Murch, Haley King, Katrina Allen, Allie Smith, Macy Valadiaz, Sarah Hokum, and Jessica Weiss. Again, nothing too crazy here that jumps out at me. I think Allie Smith gets in there because of her big win. And I think Paige Pierce isn't in there because she's still coming back from injury. Other than that, that seems pretty standard All-Stars that I would guess going into it. Now, talking about the MPO Player of the Year, Calvin Heimberg was announced as MPO Player of the Year. He received 68% of the votes from the media members, 53% of the tour card holders, so pretty much split almost. And then Isaac Robinson, who ended up getting second, he received 26% of the media members. So between Calvin and Isaac, they accounted for 94% of the votes for MPO Player of the Year. And then 40% of the tour card holders actually picked Isaac. So what that kind of tells me is the media guys, they're looking for Player of the Year. To them, they're looking at it more on a season thing. How did you perform at every event throughout the entire
Yeah.
season? And I think the tour card holders are doing more of what season would I have would I like what season do I think is the best? And we've kind of discussed this before. I think Calvin's even said it, he would trade out his season that he had to win 2 majors. But the question is that actually what player of the year really should mean? So that kind of shows you the difference in what people are thinking.
Did we ever come up with a good idea of what it does mean though? Or is it just still a big debate? Like, what is it? What is player of the year? The best player?
I think it's okay for it to be a debate. Because if it was so cut and dry, there wouldn't be any voting. It would just be look at the stats.
It would be who had the better season. Like, what does that mean? Who has the better season? What does it mean?
But Yuli, if it came down, if we literally were like, okay, who had a better season? It's all about winning, right? And that's what it came down to. Then there wouldn't be a discussion. It would literally just be like, okay, well, this person won this much and won this many majors, so they got this points. This person won this much, so they got this points, so this person wins. The fact that
why can't it be like that?
I think that's not. I don't think that leads to what we're having right now. It doesn't lead to like. There's no debate on who won the Disc Golf Pro Tour points. Right? There's no debate. No one ever's like, oh no, this person won. It's literally a point base that you get. This guy won. So there's no discussion about it. It's a simple fact. I think like the Heisman, to me, the Heisman in college football, that's a cool award because no one really knows like how it should be voted either, right? There are some people out there that are like, you vote for the quarterback on the best team. And that's who wins it. And then some people are like, well, no, this person over here, like, yeah, they lost a whole bunch, but they balled out and had crazy stats, so they should win it. Like the Heisman is awesome because of how everyone views it differently. And to me, that's like the player of the year. Everyone views it a little bit differently, so we can have these conversations.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can make it to where like it goes to the right person every year, but
that's
you're
what
eliminating.
It should be.
But you're eliminating the discussion. You're limiting the discussion.
Yeah. No, you can always
have the discussion.
Do you think
Calvin wasn't deserving? Do you think Calvin wasn't deserving of it?
Depends on which way you view it. Like what? Here's the thing. I guess it comes down to this. How do you want to be viewed from your peers? And how do you want to be viewed from the fans and let's say media people? Because if you think about it from your peers, which to me is like one of the more important things, right?
Yep.
You want to be respected among your peers. Every single peer of Isaac's would take his season over Calvin's.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. But is that what the award is? Is the award as whose season would you rather take, or is the award?
How could it not? That's what I'm saying. How could it not be? Just be like, okay, so I want Isaac's season for sure. Calvin wins then he's the player of the year. That's the season that I'm taking.
But here's a perfect.
Why would I ever want another season, Brodie? Why would I ever want to go like this? Why would I go? Okay. Who's the player of the year? It's the best season, the season that I would want. I wouldn't pick Calvin. I would pick Isaac.
Okay, let me try to give you an analogy. Do you think the majority of college football quarterbacks want to win a national championship?
Yes.
Okay, so last year you had I'm blanking on the guy's name. Who was the quarterback for Georgia last year? It was oh gosh, what was his name? Stetson Bennett, right? Am I right there? I think I'm right. You had Stetson Bennett, right? If you go to, so we just made a point, like if you're competitive, you're going into the season, you want to win the national championship. So every college quarterback would probably want to trade their season for Stetson Bennett to win a national championship. However, there are people that are playing, like perfect example is this year, Daniels, who ended up winning the Heisman. His defense sucks. His defense sucks. Like they would score 50 points and still lose games because of how bad LSU's defense was. So I'm sure he would have been like, man, it would have been awesome to be in the playoffs. It would have been awesome to like have a chance to win a national championship. But ultimately, he had the best season as a quarterback. He won the Heisman, and now he's probably going to get a big paycheck going into the NFL. And someone like a Stetson Bennett, I don't know even if he did get drafted. I don't know if he did or not. But he's probably not going to stay in the NFL, and he's probably not going to start. So like that's what I'm saying is like, yes, obviously anyone in their right mind would love to pick 2 majors and say, yes, I want 2 majors. I would rather win 2 majors and miss every cut all season, right? But if you look at what Calvin did this season, he had an incredible year. And so that's where you can have that discussion.
Oh, I get it.
And to me, I like that.
I get it because like,
are you upset Calvin won? Are you upset Calvin won?
No, okay. Because this
would
is
you
what
have been upset if Isaac won?
What?
Would you have been upset if Isaac won?
Depends. It depends on what it is. You get what I'm saying? It depends on what it is because I've always said this for like player rankings. Said player goes second at all the majors. Other player wins 1 major. I take the 1 major.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird debate. It really is, especially amongst your peers. My view on it and your view on it is completely different than said guy who doesn't play on the Pro Tour at home because he's a fan. I understand what it takes to win major championships. And it is tough. I've never done it, and I've done every other thing that you could possibly think of in the game. All of it. Never did that. I've never won like a point up, like the Elite Series points too. You know what I mean? Something like that. So to me, when I look at the highest achievement in this game out of my 20 years being on the tour, winning a major is at the very, very tippity top. It's the hardest thing to do. And so I say, no, Isaac did something because Calvin couldn't get it done. You know what I mean? Kyle did something. Calvin didn't get it done. I would take those 2 things because I know what it's like to be a consistent player like Calvin. I know what that's like. I've had seasons where I played fantastic the whole entire season, didn't get a dub. 10th, top 4s. I think one season I went top 4 in every major. No dub. I would trade them all for a major.
Okay. Let's not talk about trading seasons. Let's just talk about, if I asked you the question, who played better at the majors?
Yeah.
Okay. 4 majors. Who played better at the majors? You have player A. He won 1 major and got top 25 at the other 3. Player B got second at all 4 majors. Who played better at the majors?
Well, player B.
Okay. And that's
I get that.
That ultimately is kind of like,
that's my argument. Yeah.
The argument is like there's one side of the table, which I think the 40% of people that picked Isaac Robinson, those are the people that are saying player of the year should go to the person that I would want their season.
100%.
And then the other side of the argument is player of the year should go to the person that had the best season.
Yes.
Those 2 things are separate. Now, what I'll say about this though, and that's why I asked you, would you be upset if Isaac won? Were you upset when Calvin won? This is not like what the PDGA's player of the year was, where you could have someone that just went and played random. I don't know if they're doing that still, but you could have someone play A tiers and rack up a bunch of points playing A tiers and become the PDGA player of the year. I don't think in the way that we have this set up, I don't think that will ever happen. Right. Yeah. And it kind of showed. I think Gannon was a notch below Isaac and Calvin's year. And it looks like he received 7% roughly, I would say, like at max, he received 7% of tour card holders, and he would have received at max 6% of media members. So that just shows me right there, like, I don't think we're ever going to have someone that like is not deserving of this award win it, and we're like, what the heck? This year was kind of weird because of how it all turned out. I think if Calvin would have won a few more tournaments that he was really close in, I think it would have been a no-brainer. But the fact that Isaac did win I think it made it a little bit tougher but this is good. You want discussion. You want people talking about it. You want people passionate about it.
And it's the fact that this, in our sport, winning the world championship is the thing. It's the thing. Mm-hmm. And so it like counts quadruple towards your player of the year stat. I feel like it has to, because it's quadruple of any other tournament that we play. And I don't think a lot of people really took that into consideration. Not only did Isaac win the Champions Cup and everybody was like, holy cow, what the heck just happened? He just absolutely dominated it. Then he goes and he backs it up with a world title. That's crazy. That's a crazy year. When's the last time somebody did something like that?
I mean, it's going to be tougher and tougher to do too, obviously, right?
Well, maybe not for Isaac or Calvin. Yeah. Those guys are, and I'm not, it's all a discussion. I'm happy that Calvin won. If I were to be outside source and never played disc golf, I could look at the stats and be like, okay, this is the player of the year. He had the best season. Most consistent player, won tournaments, great. Was it, I'm pretty sure he finished top 5 in all the majors. That's your player of the year.
I just don't want it to get too, like, this is how you should be voting, because then at that point it's like, don't vote.
Right.
Like if there's a structure of like, hey, this is how much majors are worth. This is how much a win on the Pro Tour is worth. This is how much a top 5 is worth. This is how much if that's how it is, and that's how we're telling everyone to vote, then there's no reason to vote. We already have it. That you're just telling me a scoring system. Well, just crunch the numbers.
What about this? Okay. Because this happens in like basketball a lot, like with the MVP race. Okay. Mm-hmm. To where some guy just wins it over and over and over again, and they finally just give it to somebody else. What about this scenario? Calvin has the same season for 5 straight years. Isaac has the same season for 5 straight years. Isaac never wins the award. That's fair?
No, I think at that point, I think you're right. I think at that point, because there is voters, and the voters will probably most likely stay. A lot of them will stay the same throughout the years. There definitely becomes a time where you're 100% right. Of like, hey, we've been voting for Calvin, and he's kind of just doing the same thing, and Isaac's still winning 2 majors every year.
Yeah,
like we might like I'm going to vote for Isaac this year. I could totally see that happening. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're on the same page. It's just a complete crazy little. It happened
to LeBron,
thing.
right? There's multiple years that LeBron should have won it, but they're like, we can't just keep giving it to LeBron. So
then they gave it to Westbrook.
let's just pass this around a little bit.
Oh goodness!
All right, FPO Player of the Year. Way less kind of conversation with this.
Yeah.
You had Kristin Tattar receiving 100% of the media votes and 87.5% of the FPO Tour card holders. Now, this created speculation by me. I saw that. I was like, 87.5%. Some people kind of cranked the numbers and like figured out like how many people that could be. They don't tell us exactly how many people voted, right? So if let's say there are 40 FPO Tour card holders, but maybe a handful of those didn't vote, then that actually would change the number of how many people didn't vote for Kristin, right? We don't have the exact number of how many people didn't vote for Kristin, but what we do know is there are people that didn't vote for Kristin. And this is what drove me kind of wild, is like, we need to figure out these people. Who did not vote for Kristin for Player of the Year? Because it wasn't like a Calvin and Isaac situation where I can make an argument for one. Kristin had the best season of all time in FPO. Hands down. Never been done before. Hands down. If you're not voting for her as a player for Player of the Year, you are now taking something else outside of whether or not this person was the best. You're taking some other variable and you're adding it in that should not be.
I'll say it's personal at that point. It's personal.
It's a joke.
It's personal.
And I want names. I want to know, because I want to know who on the FPO is a joke. I want to know, because you are. If you did not vote Kristin for Player of the Year, and some people were saying, oh, knowing Kristin, she probably didn't vote for herself. So that I reached out to Kristin. I asked her, did you vote for yourself? And she said, I didn't vote.
Yeah.
She did say if she was going to vote, she probably wouldn't vote for herself, but she didn't vote. So that makes it. Sorry, my dogs are nuts.
Yeah, they're mad too.
They're pissed off. And some people are like, some people are probably asking me, why do you care so much? Whatever. I care because this isn't a hey, who do you like on tour? Who should be like who was the best player, but also did a lot of charity work? Because we had a vote like this in Ultimate Frisbee. It was called the Callahan Award winner, and the Callahan Award winner kind of was supposed to go to the best player in college, but there was a bunch of other stuff tied to it of like sportsmanship, how they were liked, all those things. That's not Player of the Year. Player of the Year isn't do fans like you, do players like you. It's simply who had the best season. So I want to know, because I want to know who I can look in the face and say, you're a joke.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. It's a no debate situation. It's a no debate. There's no argument. There's no argument.
And if you're voting for yourself, you're a joke. Like if you're like, I'm going to vote for myself, you're a joke.
Yeah.
There's just no way about it. So crazy. I messaged Trevor to see if he could like start doing some journalistic work to try to figure out who were the players that ended up not voting for her. And he was like, he said something which I've never heard this before. He said that the Disc Golf Pro Tour has something to where if they feel like there's some sort of like collusion or voting for your friends or something like that, like your vote gets revoked and moving forward. I've never seen that. Maybe that was somewhere in the fine print when we were voting.
Maybe.
But like I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. Like if you voted for anyone but Kristin, like, yeah, you don't get a vote next year because you're a joke.
Yeah.
All right. Some other awards that were given out. We have MPO most improved, Cole Radalin. This one, no brainer.
No brainer.
Right.
Yeah.
I think last year we got to see like sparks of Cole. Like we got to see like what his ceiling could be. And then this year, obviously at Ledgestone being his big shining moment, we really got to see like, holy cow, like this guy's a killer.
It reminded me of like Gannon, from the year prior where he was at the Pro Tour Championships and he really made a name for himself in the Pro Tour Championships. And then the next year, had his breakout season, won the USDGC.
Yep.
I mean, it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah. And then the other one, FPO, this makes a lot of sense as well. Most improved, Allie Smith. Now, she wasn't really someone on like the radar last year. So I guess, I mean, to me, did she not get like rookie? Like, was she not qualified for Rookie of the Year? Did she play enough last year to not get qualified?
I don't remember.
Yeah, look up how much she played.
Yeah.
Because
I think she did play on tour a few times for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, then for sure most improved.
Yeah.
Because she ended up actually winning on tour, and I don't even remember her playing last year.
Yeah.
So clearly, let's see. What'd she play last year? So she played Champions Cup. She did Ledgestone, Des Moines, Worlds.
And what is their finishes? Any top 10s?
That's all she played.
Oh, okay.
World, she got 40. That's all she played on tour. World, she got 42nd. Des Moines, she got 32nd. 26 at Ledgestone. 26 at Champions Cup, and 22nd at Music City. So my guess is I wouldn't really consider that playing on tour, right? That's like 5 or 6 events, but I think that might be the Juliana Corver rule of counting as technically not able to win Rookie of the Year. So it makes sense, right? So I guess technically,
and her places improved big time from those 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely is a contender and someone too I'm looking forward to seeing maybe if she has like another breakthrough, jumps another plateau going into next season. All right, comeback player of the year, Yuli. You might have a little bit of a stronger take than me on this because I actually have a pretty strong take on this. You got second place. You lost it to James Proctor. I don't think this award makes any sense. With James winning, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because if you look at James Proctor, he's very good at this. Like he's always been very good. And like I'm looking at some of his results from 2022. He got 10th at the Sula Open, 20th at the European Open. Let's see.
That was this year?
No, this is last year. 21st at MVP, 15th at USDGC. That was in 2022. Didn't he have like a really good tournament somewhere too? 21st at Portland Open. Like he's had really solid finishes. And I don't know. To me, like even going back to 2021, he got 9th at Portland Open, 2nd at Masters Cup, 15th at OTB. I don't know. To me, like comeback player of the year, should it even be injury based? Do you think it should be someone that like was injured and then they came back? Like what does this award mean to you?
Well, in the description when we were announcing it at the award show, it told us what that is. Somebody who's coming off of a slump, somebody who coming back from possibly an injury. And yeah, I mean, it's a bit cryptic, I guess, what they're looking for.
This one's the toughest one, I think.
He definitely had a way better season. I think he could have been in the contention for most improved. Kind of makes sense because of the finishes. I mean, he got like top 10 in the Pro Tour points final. But yeah, I'm not sure what they're looking for. I mean,
I hate this award. The more I think about it, I hate this award.
Yeah, I don't know what they're looking for. I mean, my season went like this. I missed 9 straight cashes on the Pro Tour. Mm-hmm. And then from that point on, had a fairly good season. It's not like I was top 10ing every single time or anything, but I definitely flipped my tournament around or my season around. And I made the finals, which was huge for me. But I don't know. I was hoping that I would get the award because of the hard work that I put in for sure. But I can't take anything away from James because of the great season that he had. So he won.
Let's cancel this award. Let's not have this award again because I think this award makes no sense. You have Valerie Mandujano winning it for FPO. She was injured and then she just came back and played and won. I mean, I guess you just give it to Paige Pierce next year. Like this award's dumb. This award's dumb. Let's cancel this award. Let's do, you know what?
I'll tell you this much. I was hoping that I would get the award because then maybe I would get considered for the All-Star event. Ooh. You know what I mean? And so that was my selfish reasoning behind that. It wasn't for me to take the award from somebody else. It was the fact that, hey, if I win this award, I might get considered to be in the All-Star, thing, which would have been awesome. And so that's why I was a little bummed that I won. But congrats to James, man. Honestly,
of course, no, winning an award is always dope. Yeah. I just think this one, like, there might not be someone. You're always gonna have someone most improved. You're always gonna have like rookie of the years too. We'll get to those in a second. You're always gonna have player of the year. That makes sense. You might not have a comeback player of the year. Like it just might not. There might not be someone like that. It doesn't really make that much sense. So I think get away with this. And if you want to have another award, add something like off the course. So someone like most someone
influential or something.
Yeah, like or someone that gave back to the sport the most, right? Like someone that is, out there, like a good person for that would be like Ella Hansen with her work that she does with Uplay, right? Like stuff like that, of where like maybe that's a good award to maybe exchange it with. Because the comeback, to me, it's like, what, you're gonna have Ricky miss 3 cuts and then all of a sudden win the next tournament and he wins comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I think he was actually in the running for winning it. I think it was us. It was Proctor, myself, and Ricky. Which I think Ricky actually, no offense to Proctor, but I think Ricky made more sense than even Proctor because he missed a bunch of tournaments.
He's injured, yeah.
He was injured, and then he came back and he won the Pro Tour Championships with missing a bunch of tournaments. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good comeback story to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. We have Rookie of the Year, Luke Taylor. He probably had the best acceptance speech out of everyone because he did an ace. He made an ace right before he did his acceptance speech. And also, I was paying attention, no cuts. So, like, that's very nerve-wracking to make the shot and then have to be like, all right, now I have to talk for 30 to 45 seconds and like not mess up.
Yeah.
Or else it looks.
I wonder if he aced before and messed up. Like if that was his first ace.
I gotta try it again.
Yeah.
That's a good question. But yeah, shout out to him. He had an incredible season. I think Aiden Scott was also close, who also had a really good rookie season as well. And then you have Rookie of the Year.
But that's one more thing.
Yep.
But that's another thing. Why isn't Parker Welk the winner? It was his rookie season, but he had played.
Was it?
Yeah, but he had played a couple the year before.
He probably played too many. That's the Juliana Korver. Rule. You can't. They had to have set a certain number. They had to have. You have to set a certain number of. This is how many events count. And yeah, I agree with you of where it's like, I mean, there is like some of this stuff is like pretty ridiculous too, where they're like, this person moved up 45 spots from last year in the Disc Golf Pro Tour standing. It's like, well, yeah, no, duh. They played 3 events last year, and this year they played 30 events. Like anyone's going to move up.
Stats
anyone's going to get way more points by playing way more events. Like that's a no-brainer. But yeah, see how many events he played the year before, because they had to make the Juliana Korver, because when Juliana Korver won as a 6-time world champion, Rookie of the Year, it made absolutely no sense.
Yeah, that was weird.
They had to set the line at a certain amount of events, so that didn't ever happen. That never happened again. So my guess is Parker played whatever that number was the year before, and so he wasn't, because he should have. I mean, you win. If you're a rookie and you win on tour, like you're Rookie of the Year. It doesn't really matter what else you do.
Yeah.
Like you've won the award. For FPO, Rookie of the Year is Silva Saarinen. This is the person that I've talked about a couple times here on the podcast. Someone that I've definitely kept my eye on as to potentially someone that could compete. I don't know if she necessarily has the distance to maybe compete at every course, but her putt is one of the best, I think, in the FPO. So someone that I've definitely have kept my eye on to see, the progress, and a very deserving FPO Rookie of the Year. She's also done a lot of good stuff too over on the European tours over there as well. Now, I did Yuli get the media voter. Oh,
I got it.
What's the Parker Welk situation?
The Parker Welk situation is he played Worlds. He got 86th.
Yep.
He played OTB, 58th. Yep. Santa Cruz, which was a silver, 34th. And he also played Vegas. That was it.
I think 4 might be the number.
It has to be.
Yeah. So it didn't count. Yeah.
You think that's a good number? I think that's a garbage number. I'm going to be honest. I think that's a garbage number.
I mean, what is that? That's like 25% of the season?
How is Worlds part of it?
No, it's less than 25. 20%? Well, I mean, the majors have to be part of it, because you can't have someone play you can't have someone play all 4 majors. I mean, imagine this, Yuli. Imagine again, our sport's kind of weird, but imagine Juliana Korver decided like, hey, this year I'm only going to play all 4 majors. She plays all 4 majors, does decently at all 4, and then and then plays the tour next year, and then gets Rookie of the Year.
How about
you could
this?
have someone technically do that?
No. What about this?
Yes, you could. Yes, you could.
No, listen to this scenario though. There's a guy. He Monday qualifies at like 5 events. No tour card on the PGA Tour.
Okay.
He gets his tour card. That's his rookie year, isn't it? If you earn your tour card,
if that's the way our season was, I would agree with you. Like if that's how the tour worked, I would agree with you. But that's not really how the tour works.
Yeah,
that's why, like you can to play 4 events. Like if you're decent at disc golf and you're like, I want to play 4 events this year, you can play 4 events.
Yeah.
If you're really good at golf and you're like, I want to play 4 events this year,
someday it will be like that though.
Someday it will, and I think that's when you can change it.
Yeah.
To where it's like your first year of having a tour card.
Yeah.
That's your rookie season.
Then make it none. You can't have played any pro tours the year before, because it's real. Come on.
Yeah. No, I agree. Agree. It's just it's a weird thing the way that you can get in and out of tournaments right now. It doesn't make sense. So they had to do something like this. But let's talk about these media voters, okay? Because we have some exclusive. They're going to announce this I think it might have already been announced, but like maybe a few hours before this podcast goes up. They gave it to us to talk about because I think this is interesting. Where I wanted to know what players didn't vote for Kristin Tattar, we actually get to see the media voters. And I believe we don't get to see who they vote for right now, but I think like me and you don't get to see that, but I think that will be known. I think they're going to announce who people voted for in the media.